Hey guys, Alex Fortey here, The Art of Simple Golf. Today we're doing some stuff indoors, whether you are in quarantine, in lockdown, or whether you're just too busy to kind of get out on the golf course. This is going to help you. Now, there are a few things you're going to need, or something similar ideally. One, a tennis ball. Two, a band of some sort, if this is kind of like an additional extra. A book. I'm pretty sure, well, at least I hope most of you have got a book anyway, and a golf club. But this is going to help us kind of improve the golf swing, different facets of it, whether it's the release, whether it's the backswing, rotation, all that lovely jubbly stuff. So, you know, we always struggle for time. Even doing what I do, I struggle to practice as much as I'd like or play anywhere near as much as I'd like. So, being in the convenience of your home or office, if no one's looking, you can really improve your, you know, genuinely improve, not just sort of work on it, but actually do something very significant in a short space of time that might just give you something that clicks, but isn't complicated and is something that you can repeat frequently with trust and consistency. So, enough of me waffling. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, just leave them below as well. So, let's get to it. Alright, so if you can, grab a tennis ball or any kind of ball that you got around the house. I'm not asking you to juggle, although if you do that, it will help your golf game because it helps your hand-eye coordination. I'm not going to demonstrate because I'm going to look a fool. But anyway, grab yourself a wall, right? Because you know, I mean, any wall, this is just drywall. If you've got something a bit more solid, or if you want to do it outside, whatever, do so. But let's start with the tennis ball so you can see it. What we're doing here, like, we want a golf swing that has nice smoothness and release, right? Because so many of you, I talk about this quite a lot, you talk about, you think about hitting at it and this kind of swing stops here. But we want that flow, we want that freedom, we want that release. So just as you see here, like I'm in the basement, but just with a tennis ball, in my regular position, I'm just holding the ball with the left hand. And what I'm trying to do is release it down at this point. So yes, I'm releasing down at the ball because that's where we sort of want to collect, but we're having extension and release through. So you can do it with both hands, but let's just show with the left. Okay, like that. And I'm actually not fantastic with my left arm doing much stuff, but that feel is going to give you the right kind of momentum. And if you find that you're screwing it up a bit, you sort of like this, or whatever it might be, it's going to highlight some faults in your swing. But just by that objective, without thinking about positions or anything like this, you're going to get the natural sort of flow. And the same applies for the right hand. A bit too strong there, right? But, see, told you. But anyway, or you can, if you want to try this ball, just the same. There. It might not have as much bounce, but that's the idea. So really feel, as you're coming through, you've got that weight transition and you're letting go at that point here. So we're there. That's where we want to be. And we can do it with both balls like that. Both hands. That's the idea. It's kind of hard to catch and talk at the same time and speak to you. But that's it. So aside from little balls flying everywhere, excuse the pun, that's a really good drill. So give that a try. So here we are moving on to the next drill, and it's another type of sports ball, but a football. For those of you pretty much the rest of the world, this is an American football, not a soccer ball, but obviously. But so grab it, if you can, find a rugby ball or an American football, something like that, because what we're teaching here is that, again, we want rotation, but we want that sort of release and that pattern. So if I show you from this angle, right, we've got the palms up. I'm gripping the laces like so. Now what I'm doing is winding up my backswing here, And what I'm doing there is releasing back down. Now, I'm not expecting you to throw this, but that feeling, that sensation, being able to hit back into that, fit back into that slot as everything's coming down, there is basically the golf swing. So from this position, if you imagine what it's like to throw, and if you can get out into the yard and do this, absolutely superb. So with the right hand, wind back like this and release that way. Always sort of hitting that slot. And you'll notice the right elbow pit is sort of always pointing up through here, okay? Because we don't want that over sort of rotation and pulling it over to the left. That's not going to happen. So with the end of the ball pointing that way where we want it to go, we sort of maintain that, and that's almost like a guide. So we're from here, we hinge up and we release that way, and that's that swing. And that's it. That is a golf swing. We can even put two hands on it like so and make a golf swing there. That's all we're trying to do, okay? So you get to that point and then release through. Show you from this angle, swing back and release through. Dead simple. Really nice little drill using your football, and you can get out and throw it in the yard if you want, okay? Alright, so here's the next drill using a book. Now you don't have to use the Beano book. For those of you in England, you might recognize this, and yes, it is one of my ones from when I was a kid, 1986. I absolutely love these. I got them every week, every year. Dennis the Menace, Roger the Dodger, Bash Street Kids and all that. But anyway, I digress very much so. The kids read these now, which is awesome. But this book is going to help with your swing playing, a bit similar to what we were doing with the football before, enabling the right sort of motion and action to groove that. With this Beano book, or any book that you get, as you make a backswing, you can sort of see in relation to where those neutral palms are, because we don't want too much rotation this way, we don't want it too much this way. And it starts from the takeaway, it starts from the sort of halfway back position, because we want that pretty much pointing in between the ball and and your feet line. We don't want it to be too flat. So if you kind of make your normal swing, a lot of you will find that you're kind of pointing over there. So it's giving you a very visual guide and a sense of where you're at. So you make that swing and you just keep practicing to try and get the right sort of actions. And at the top of the swing, you don't want to be, I don't want to say you don't want to be, because it's not as like I'm going to say this to Dustin Johnson saying, oh, you don't want to be here, because it also depends on what you do the rest of the swing. But just sort of take note of it, even in front of a mirror, see what you're doing, see how it looks, whatever it might be, to, whether it's through the ball, how is that book facing? How does it feel? It sort of creates an awareness. So just using the book is going to give you the sensations of where you want to be. And you can make golf swings that way to really learn and sort of connect with the golf club. And the same sort of sensations as you come back, we've got that feeling, trying to just replicate that sense of the book, be able to bring it down, whatever it might be, just creating that awareness. So that's what I mean by golf swing training. It doesn't have to be hitting balls, it's just creating a bit of awareness. Now, I know, if you've followed me for a while, you know that it's not about positions, it's not about trying to think about where you're at and detracting from what you're trying to do, which is hit a proper golf shot to there, to wherever it might be. But having that consciousness, a little bit of where you're at, will help you sort of coach yourself, help you teach yourself a bit, so you can improve and you understand that if I'm laying it off a bit too much, what's that going to cause? Is it going to cause me coming over the top? Or likewise, if I'm too steep this way, what's that doing? Or if I'm too much this way? Just being a little bit aware, so perhaps when you're on the golf course, you can feel that swing just a little bit better and make those adjustments, especially live out on the golf course, okay? So, get the book, give that a try, and make some nice fluid golf swings all the way through to be aware of where your neutral point is, or where the club face is, and it is going to help you a lot. All right, so the last one is kind of a bonus one because maybe not everyone has these, but I wager most people have got the other items. Using a resistance band of sorts here. This is, I guess, training. There's a couple of ways we can do it, and all we're doing is like these helicopter turns, as I call them. So we're trying to create a bit more stretch. Like it's a wonderful feeling to not just be able to rotate the body. We want to actually feel like the right side is continuing, I can't really say that word, continuing, you know what I mean, on, to create that little bit more resistance, but without force. So we sort of get to this point, and people, they might make a relatively good shoulder turn to about here, and then they come a little bit unstuck because they're trying to move, you know, the left shoulder, that's the sort of awareness, back. However, if we can get a little bit more stretch, and that's the feeling that we want, from the right side to the left, like opening up the chest, feeling that right side pull back, you're going to get that much sort of coil and turn to snap back in place. Because what will happen is you get to about there, now the club will lower, but you still haven't moved, and then we can collect. So it's giving you just that little bit more range of motion, and this resistance band will give you that. So just kind of collecting it here and just pulling from the one side to feel that little bit of extra stretch is really going to accentuate that feeling. So when you come and go and hit golf balls, you can feel that extra little bit of movement, but not from the side, not from like turning the whole rib cage, not turning everything, just pulling that right side back a couple more inches. At least that's the sensation, but we don't want to be doing it consciously. We want to be doing it more or less naturally, and that's where a little bit of training comes in. And that's basically it. Now, if you want an extra sort of power move that I quite like doing in the gym, I'm going to show you one of those, and I'm going to get a bit out of breath as I do it. So you can see the resistance band, I've got it in between my 2 feet. Really simple. I'm kind of replicating a golf grip here, like that. So there's a bit of resistance, and all I'm going to do is make a half swing back and a half swing through. That's it. So I'm feeling the tension, the collection, and that movement. And it's just a bit of speed training, it's a bit of muscular training, it's working the core. I mean, even though the golf swing doesn't need to feel like that, we're kind of building a foundation in that training aspect. So that's basically it. So do that maybe 3 times, 10, 15 times, and you should be good to go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. Few drills you can do at home, just have a bit of fun to kind of groove your swing, even if you've got a few minutes spare just watching television or whatever. So you don't need a home simulator, you don't need anything fancy, just a couple of sports equipment, a resistance band and a book, and you can do a lot for your golf game and your golf game. So with any of these drills, use it wisely, but does it make sense to you? Is that something that feels right to you? It might feel a little bit awkward at first, but try not to pinball around from position to position. Just go by feeling and flow, and you will play better golf. Anyway, leave your questions below, and subscribe to the channel because we're putting out a couple of videos every week. And if you want an awesome video series for absolutely free, just click that link below, and I will see you on the other side. See you next time.